They need something to do. They're gonna get bored. Some of them are starting to look hungry. Jesse, did you get some of the carols we had? It's a Carol. Who is Carol? Travis! We know! Yes!
We can read to them. Let's do it! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is our production of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Rush. But that's okay. All right. Every Who down in Whoville likes Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all, they have been his heart too tight. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, gritty frown at the warm, lighted windows. Below their town. For he knew every Who in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. They're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas is practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop this Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. That's the one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They'd feast on Who pudding and rare Who's roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then he'd do something they liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand together, hand in hand, with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand close together, and the Who's would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 43 years, I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a horrible, awful Grinchy idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. He made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked with a great Saint Nick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. When the little Who stockings were hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Look. He slithered and he slunk, with a smile most unpleasant. Around the room, he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, phones and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. Then he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's Feast. He took the Who Pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. While that Grinch even took the last can of Who Hash. Then he stuffed all the food in the chimney with glee. And now, for the Grinch, I will take the Christmas tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree. He started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a little Who. Little Cindy Lou Who was no more than two. And the Grinch had caught this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But the Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought of a lie. He thought it was quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied. "There's a light on this tree that won't light on the inside. So I'm taking it to my home, my dear. I'll fix it up there. I'll bring it back here." And his fin flew the chop. He patted her head. He got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. He went up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log from the fire. He went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On the walls there was nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb, even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was dawn. All the Who's still abed, all the Who's still snooze. When he packed up his sled, packed it up in their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the tappings. 3,000 feet up on the side of Mount Crumpler, he rode with his load to the tippy top to dump it. To the Who's or Who's was his grinchiest hunger. They're waking up now. I just know what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a moment or two. Then all the Who's down in Whoville will cry, "Ooh, ooh." But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound was merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Merry. He stared down his Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who's out in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't saw Christmas was coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without packages, boxes, or bags. Then he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from the store. Maybe Christmas is worth even more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. And when his heart didn't feel so tight, he whizzed through his load, through the morning light, and he brought back toys and food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beef.